Welcome to Learning iMovie. My name is Steve Martin, and I'm here with my partner Mark Spencer. And we both run a training company called RippleTraining.com. And we wanted to focus on iMovie. And why iMovie, Mark?
Well, it's interesting. I mean, these days, everybody shoots video. Video's available on your iPhone, video's available on the cameras you carry around that shoot still and video. So everybody's shooting tons of video. And everybody wants to tell a story, and everybody needs to use video to tell their story these days, whether it's a business or for personal use.
Right, and you might say that iMovie is the most popular editing system on any platform because it ships free with every Macintosh.
Exactly, free with every single Mac. So we thought we would do something to help people be able to jump into iMovie to take advantage of all this media that they have, all these video clips, and be able to tell their stories.
Right, so we're presenting Learning iMovie as a series of short lessons that you can just jump into and get your head around iMovie so you can actually start telling your stories right away.
Exactly, and we're covering the entire iMovie application, from importing your media to editing it to how you share your movie at the end.
So I think we should probably just jump in and get started with showing iMovie.
Let's do it.
To get started, let's take a look at iMovie's interface and basic workflow. Here, I've opened a library that contains some video and projects so we can see all the parts of the interface populated with content. The iMovie interface consists of a single window. Let's have the window fill the screen by clicking this green button at the top left corner. You can also use iMovie in full screen mode by choosing Window, enter Full Screen. Now, the menu bar appears only when you move the pointer to the top of the screen. The iMovie interface contains 5 work areas: the toolbar on top, the sidebar on the left, the browser, the viewer, and the timeline. You use the toolbar to kick off each of the 3 main steps to making a video: importing media, creating a movie, and sharing your clips or projects. The buttons at the far right of the toolbar are used to make changes to your video and audio clips, and the buttons in the center allow you to switch between the library view when working on your movies and the theater view for viewing your completed movies after you've shared them. Let's reselect the library. The sidebar contains the libraries list at the top. A library is a container for your media and projects. At the bottom is the content library, which includes several categories of media that you can add to your projects. The browser is where you view your clips, rate them, make selections, and add them to your project. You also use the browser to locate and open projects. Let's select the iMovie library in the libraries list. All the projects and media contained in this library appear in the browser. The items inside the library are called events. Events are like folders that help you organize your video, photos, and sound clips. Let's select an event. Now the browser shows just the projects and/or media within that event. Projects are the movies you create with the media and are identified by the film slate-looking thumbnail. If you select all projects in the sidebar, you'll see projects from all events. Let's double-click this project to open it. When you open a project, it appears in the timeline. The timeline is where you build your movie by adding clips from the browser and media from the content library. You can change how much of the project is visible by dragging the zoom slider at the top right, like this. The viewer lets you see the contents of either clips in the browser or the contents of your project in the timeline. If you move the mouse pointer over a clip in the browser, you'll see a thin vertical line called the skimmer. Moving the skimmer over a clip displays the clip's contents in the viewer to the right. You can also move your skimmer over any clip in the browser and skim in any direction. Skimming is a fast way to get familiar with your media before adding it to your project. You can also skim your project by moving the mouse pointer into the timeline. As you skim right or left, the content appears in the viewer. This vertical white line with the triangle on top is called the playhead. You can move the playhead anywhere in the movie by clicking in the gray area above any clip. You can also click and drag on the top of the playhead to move it. Let's move the playhead to the start of the project and then press the spacebar to play the project. You can adjust the relative size of the browser, viewer, and timeline depending on where you want to focus your attention. To do so, drag on the top of the timeline like this. And you can swap the location of the timeline and the browser if you like. From the window menu, choose Swap Project and Event. Choose the same command again to swap them back. The workflow for working in iMovie is very straightforward and is identified by the three icons at the top left of the toolbar that we mentioned earlier. The first step is to import your media either from a camera or a folder. The second step is to create a project. If we click the Create button, we see that we have a choice of either a movie or a trailer. We'll create both types of projects in this tutorial. And the third step is to share your work. Click the Share menu to see different destination options for sharing your project.
Steve, great. That was awesome. So now that we've got a good feel for the overall interface, let's dive in and start a project by importing some media.
Sounds great, Mark.
Welcome back to Learning iMovie. In this lesson, we're going to look at importing media into iMovie.
In fact, we have a number of very popular cameras that are in use today. GoPro camera, iPhone.
Trusty iPhone.
And DSLR on the high end.
They can shoot pictures and video.
Absolutely. So I think we'll look at how to bring all of this stuff into iMovie.
Let's do it.
When you launch iMovie for the very first time, it contains an empty library named iMovie Library. As we saw in the first lesson, libraries contain events. You can think of events as folders for storing related video clips and the movies that you make with these clips. This library contains a single event, named by default with the current date. This event is selected. Since we don't have a project to open in the timeline, the browser occupies the entire bottom half of the interface. It displays the currently selected event, as we can see by the event name at the left side here. It also tells us this event is empty. Let's remedy this situation by performing the first step to creating your movie, importing some media. You can click the Import arrow in the toolbar or click this larger arrow here in the empty browser. Doing so opens the Import window. You can use this window to select and import video clips, photographs, graphics, and audio files. These files can be located on cameras, on your computer, or on a connected volume. At the top middle of the window, we can choose the event that our media will be placed into. It defaults to the event that was selected when we open the import window. If we add other events, they would appear in this pop-up menu, or you can create a new event. The left sidebar contains a list of media sources, including cameras, devices, and favorite locations. If your Mac has a built-in camera, you can select it here and record a clip directly into iMovie. I'm going to connect an iPhone to this computer.
So we've got our iPhone, and we'll just connect it with a standard lightning cable to USB here and plug it in.
The iPhone appears in the camera section with a progress indicator. When it disappears, select the iPhone. Any photos or videos in the iPhone's camera roll now appear. Using this pop-up, you can choose whether you want to see photos, video, or both. Let's choose videos. We can change the size of the preview thumbnails by clicking this film strip icon. We can also enable waveforms to see if there's audio with these clips. And we can choose to hide any clips you may have imported earlier. To quickly preview each clip's contents, skim over the top of each thumbnail. To play a clip from the current skimmer position, press your spacebar. To select a clip for import, simply click it. A yellow band appears around the clip to indicate that it's selected. To select more than one clip, press the Command key and click each clip you want to import. Or you can select a clip, then Shift-click a later clip to select a range of clips. An even faster method is to drag out a box, called a marquee, around a group of clips you want to import. To deselect clips, click in an empty gray area. If no clips are selected, you can import them all by clicking the Import All button. Let's select a few of these underwater clips here. then click Import Selected. The import window closes. This blue circle icon in the toolbar indicates the progress of your import. If you have notifications enabled in Mavericks, you are also notified that the import is complete, and you can disconnect your iPhone. The imported clips now appear in the browser, and we see the first one in the viewer. We're now going to import some clips from a GoPro camera. Now, these cameras have become extremely popular in the past couple of years because they can shoot in practically any environment, and they take extremely high-quality video and photographs.
Yeah, I love these cameras. And there's a little tip here. Instead of connecting the camera directly to the computer, take the card out. Here, I'll take that. And stick the card in a card reader. So here I have a little card reader. There's many of these available.
That's a USB 3 card reader.
This is USB 3. I'll stick it in there. And the reason I'm doing that is by using a card reader, we'll actually be able to preview the clips before importing them.
Well, you couldn't do that when it was directly connected to the camera.
Correct. You just get a thumbnail. But this way we can actually view the clips.
This time, I'll connect my card reader without first opening the import window. Notice how iMovie senses that a camera card has been connected and automatically opens the import window. Very nice. The card appears in the camera section and is selected. Let's skim a few clips. Let's select a few clips and import them. Sometimes you want to import media that has already been copied to your computer or drive. For example, I have several clips taken from a DSLR camera that I had copied to a folder on my desktop. Let's import them. Click the Import button on the toolbar, then select Desktop in the Favorites section. Navigate to the folder containing your media files and click Import Selected. You can even drag media directly into the event browser. Let's switch to the Finder, open a window, and navigate to some clips. You can select a clip, a group of clips, or an entire folder of clips and drag them into the event browser. iMovie imports them into the selected event.
So in this lesson in learning iMovie, what we're going to do is go into working with all the clips that we had imported previously, right?
That's right. And sometimes you have so much material, you want to boil it down to just the portions you want to use in your movie.
The best bits.
Right. So we're going to look at that now, browsing and rating our clips.
Let's get into it.
Once you've imported your media into iMovie, the next step is to review it and select the parts that you'd like to include in your project. When you select an event in the Libraries list, thumbnails of the clips contained in that event appear in the browser. You can adjust the appearance of these thumbnails by clicking the film strip icon at the top right of the browser. Here, you can change the clip size. You can also change how many minutes or seconds are contained in each image of the film strip by dragging the zoom slider. Let's drag it left to all so that each clip is represented by a single image. Let's also choose to show waveforms so that we can tell at a glance if and where a clip has audio. In addition to clip appearance, we can change how the clips are organized and sorted in the browser. Right or control-click in an empty area. In this menu, you can separate the clips based on the days they were created. And you can collapse days you may not be interested in. Let's turn that feature off. You can also choose to sort your clips by date, name, or clip duration, either ascending or descending. These sorting options are great if you're working with a large number of clips. To see the contents of a clip in the viewer, simply move your mouse pointer over it, a process called skimming. When the pointer is over a clip, its duration appears at the top left corner. To play an entire clip back, skim to the left edge of the clip and press the spacebar. Press the spacebar again to stop playback. Sometimes, instead of creating a movie, you just want to immediately share a single clip or part of a clip. To share a full clip, first double-click it to select it. The yellow border around the thumbnail lets you know it's selected. Then click the Share button and select your destination. To share a portion of a clip, skim to the start of the range you want to select. Then click and drag to the end of the range and release the mouse. The yellow border identifies the current selection range. Now click the Share button and choose a destination to share just this range. You can also use selection ranges in order to identify parts of clips you want to include or exclude from your movie. Let's look at another way to create a selection range that's quite useful. Press I on your keyboard where you want the range to start. Play to where you want the range to end, then press O. You can adjust the range by dragging on either end of the yellow border. To check your range, you can play it back by selecting View, Play Selection, or pressing the / key on your keyboard. I like to include a little extra material on either end when I set ranges. This will help when editing later. Once you have a range you like, you can rate it using the Mark menu. You can favorite a clip, reject a clip, or unrate a rated clip. Notice the keyboard shortcuts. Using favorites is a great way to identify the best parts of your clips. Let's use the keyboard shortcut to rate a clip as a favorite. I'll drag out a selection, then press F for favorite. The green line that appears at the top of the range indicates the favorite rating. If you click another clip, you can click on the green bar to reselect that range. If a clip or part of a clip is not of interest, you can reject it. Let's set a range on this clip and press the Delete key. That part of the clip disappears from the browser. You can reject entire clips by double-clicking them and pressing the Delete key. Note that no actual media is deleted when you do this. Once you have rated your clips, you can have iMovie show you just the parts of the clips you're interested in. From the pop-up menu at the top right of the browser, select Favorites. Now, just the ranges of clips marked as favorites appear. Notice how the green bar covers the entire clip length. Or you can view just your rejected clips. These clips or clip ranges have a red bar at the top. Let's say you didn't want to reject this clip. Double-click it to select it, then press the U key to unrate it. Now select Hide Rejected to return to the default view. Once your clips are imported, organized, and rated, you can start creating your movie.
In this lesson about learning iMovie, we're going to go into how to make a trailer in iMovie.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I love movie trailers. They're fun, exciting, and sometimes the best parts of the movie are in the trailer.
Sometimes the whole movie is in the trailer.
Sometimes the trailers are better than the movie.
Yes.
So one of the things about trailers is that you have all this footage, and you're not going to sit and show all that footage to your family. So what's great about a movie trailer is it boils down everything you've done to a single, concise, like 1 minute thing.
1 minute movie. Let's jump in and see how to make it.
Let's do it.
All right.
After you've imported the media you want to use, click the Create button and choose Trailer. Scroll through the list of trailer templates and click the Play button to preview them. Notice that each trailer is created on specific genres of movies: action, romance, suspense, etc. My friend Zion did a recent dive trip to the Caribbean, and the swashbuckler trailer seems entirely appropriate. I'll select it and press the Create button. Let's call this trailer Zion's Dive Trip. There are 3 stages to creating your trailer. In the outline, you identify your movie and studio and assign credits. Let's change the name of the studio and choose a logo style. You can also change the credits. In the storyboard, you choose the text and add clips to each section of the trailer. The gray images are called placeholders and offer suggestions for the shots you'll place into them. For example, we can place a landscape shot into this first placeholder. Simply skim a clip, then click to add it to the selected placeholder. Next, I'll add a wide shot. This one of Zion swimming toward the camera is a good one. The great thing about trailers is that the shot timing has already been worked out and perfectly matches the music. It's kind of like painting by the numbers. Let's change this placeholder text to "One New Diver." In the shot list, you can review and change your selected shots. Notice all your shot types are grouped together. To replace a shot, select the placeholder, locate a new clip in the browser, skim to the frame you want to start on, then click to replace the shot. To preview the trailer, press your home key, then click the play button in the viewer. When you're happy with your work, you can add it to iMovie Theater or share it with your family and friends. Let's take a look at the completed trailer. In this lesson, we're going to edit our movie, which is to tell our story.
Yep, now that we've imported our clips, we've reviewed them, we've rated them, we can get to work actually building the movie.
Let's do it.
All right. Once you've imported your media and identified the parts of the clips you want to use by rating with favorites, it's time to build your movie. To get started, make sure the event containing the clips you want to use is selected. Click the Create button and choose Movie. You can choose from a set of themes, or you can choose not to use a theme. Let's select No Theme. You can always add one later. Now you can either double-click the No Theme thumbnail or click the Create button. Give your movie a name and choose an event to store it in. The currently selected event should appear here for you, so click OK. An empty timeline for your project appears in the bottom half of the iMovie window. The next step is to add your clips to the timeline. Let's filter our clips to view just our favorites that we rated earlier. To add a clip, double-click it to select it, then click the plus button. To add part of a clip, drag out a range, and then click the plus button. Don't worry too much about the exact order of your clips because you can change that later. To see more of your project, drag the zoom slider at the top right of the timeline. The plus button always adds clips to the end of your project. You can also drag clips to the timeline, and you can place them between other clips. In the browser, notice the orange bars that have appeared on the bottom of the clips that we've added to the timeline. These are used media indicators, and they let us know which clips we've already used in our movie. After you've added several clips to the timeline, you can view them. Just like in the browser, moving the pointer over the timeline is called skimming and allows you to see clips that you skim in the viewer. The vertical colored line is called the skimmer. The vertical white line with a triangle on top is called the playhead. If you press the spacebar to play the project, the playhead jumps to the skimmer location. You may want to change how your clips appear in the timeline. Click the film strip icon at the top right. Just as with the browser, you can change the clip size and view audio waveforms. Let's enable them. If dragging the slider all the way to the left doesn't reveal all the clips in your project, you can either scroll the timeline by swiping left or right on your mouse or trackpad, or from the View menu, select Wrapping Timeline. Now we can see all the clips in the project in rows. Let's turn that back off for now. Often, you want to make additional changes to your movie in the timeline. To change the order of a clip, simply drag it to the new location. You can even select multiple clips and drag them all to a new location. In addition to changing the location of clips, you can change the content of clips by trimming them, which means adding or taking away frames from the start or end of a clip. To trim a clip, drag on either end. The current frame appears in the viewer as you drag. Here's a tip for how to quickly trim a clip to a specific frame. Let's say that we'd like this clip to start later. We can skim the clip to the frame we want and click to place the playhead right over the skimmer on that frame. Now from the Modify menu, let's select Trim to Playhead. Notice the keyboard shortcut, Option/. Immediately, the start of the clip is trimmed to that frame. And you actually don't even need to select the clip. Let's skim the end of this clip. Let's say we'd like it to end here instead. With the skimmer over the clip and without clicking, press Option/. And the end of the clip is trimmed to that frame. Very fast and easy. If the skimmer is over the first half of the clip, the Trim to Playhead command will trim the start of the clip. If it's over the second half, it'll trim the end of the clip. By adding clips from the browser to the timeline, and then arranging and trimming them in the timeline, you build the structure of your movie. In the next lesson, we'll take a look at more ways to add clips to your movie.
So we've now added clips to our timeline and arranged the order. Now we're going to look at some other editing options so that you can become more efficient in telling your story.
Yeah, the big part about editing is adding clips into the timeline, getting them in the right order. So we're going to look at a few ways that can make that process faster.
Excellent. Let's take a look.
Okay. We've already seen how we can add clips from the browser to the timeline by double-clicking to select them, or dragging to create a range, and then pressing the plus button to add the clip to the end of the timeline. A faster way to select an entire clip is to move the pointer over it and press the X key. Then, let's take a look at the Edit menu. Here, there are 3 types of edit commands and their corresponding shortcuts: Add to Movie, or E, Connect, or Q, and Insert, or W. The Add to Movie command does the same thing as pressing the plus button. Let's select a clip by pressing X, and then press E. It gets added to the end of our project, E for End. The Insert command is great for placing a clip between 2 other clips. Let's select a clip or set a range in the browser. Then in the timeline, we'll click between 2 clips and press the W key. This command wedges the selected clip in between the clips on either side. The Connect command lets you create a cutaway shot. For example, here we have an interview of a diver talking about his recent experience. Let's listen to the start of the clip.
One of the coolest things I saw was a sea turtle.
Okay, he says that he saw a sea turtle. So we have a shot of a sea turtle. So we can cut away from him to show our audience what he's talking about while we continue to hear him talk. In the browser, let's drag out a range on a few seconds of the sea turtle shot. Then we'll press Q to connect this clip to the clip under the playhead in the timeline. And let's play that back.
One of the coolest things I saw was a sea turtle. There was a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw two.
Let's say we want to add more underwater sounds to these clips here in the timeline. In the browser, this clip contains a lot of good underwater sounds. Let's press X to select it, then drag it to the timeline. Notice if we drag above the timeline clips, a connection line appears. If we let go, we can create the same type of cutaway shot we did earlier by pressing Q. But if we drag this clip below the timeline clips, the clip thumbnail changes to be only audio. And when we release the mouse, we get just the audio connected to the video clip. Let's play that. You can also replace a clip in your project. Let's say we'd like to replace this sunset shot in the timeline with this morning shot up in the browser. Let's drag a range on the browser clip, and it can have a different duration than the timeline clip, and then drag the browser clip over the top of the timeline clip that we want to replace. Wait for the plus sign and release the mouse. We now have several options. Let's choose Replace. This will replace the current clip with a new clip using the full range of the new clip. Notice how the duration changes. Let's undo that and start over. This time we'll select Replace from Start, which uses just enough of the new clip to exactly match the duration of the old clip, beginning with the start of the new clip's range, as long as the range is longer than the replaced clip. See how the duration does not change this time. Let's undo that. Now Replace from End does the same thing, but beginning with the end of the new clip's range and working backward to match the duration of the current clip. By the way, Insert will cut this current clip at the playhead location and insert the new clip in between like this. Let's undo and then do a simple replace edit. So you can see by using these editing commands like add to movie, insert, connect, and replace, you can more quickly take clips in the browser and add them exactly where you want in the timeline.
So what you're really talking about is massaging your story using these commands to get it exactly the way you want it.
Right. So from here in the next lesson, we'll dive into making more changes to your edit within the timeline itself.
Excellent.
So we've learned, Steve, so far how to get the right clips into the timeline in the right order with everything we learned about iMovie so far. Mm-hmm. Now we really get into the heart of editing, really what most of editing is about.
Getting paid.
Getting paid. Well, a lot of these projects you're not get paid for, right? We're working on a little personal project here, but trimming is what we're going to really get into now in this lesson.
No, that's an interesting term, trimming. It seems to be unique to our industry because when I think trimming, I think going to the barber and getting a trim.
Yeah,
so you're shortening stuff. Yeah. But trimming in the editing world also means adding material. So like you're trimming a Christmas tree. Yep. So there's a new term for you, trimming. We're going to be adding and subtracting from our clips in the timeline.
So we'll get right into it.
Let's take a look.
Okay, so we've explored how you can trim clips in the timeline by dragging the start and end points. But to see more information about the clip as we trim and to perform additional types of edits, we can use two new tools, the Clip Trimmer and the Precision Editor. So let's start with the Clip Trimmer. One way to open the Clip Trimmer is to right or control click a clip and select it from the menu. The Clip Trimmer appears above. What's great about the Clip Trimmer is you can see all the available media from the full clip. The media that is currently being used in the project is between the two white vertical lines. Any unused media is to the left and right. If you need to, you can use the zoom slider to see more or less of the clip. Playing the clip in the Clip Trimmer plays the unused media, so you can see and hear the parts you might want to add.
I had a lot of fun. It was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, and I can't wait to go diving tomorrow.
Great, so in this case we can add that extra sentence that he says at the end, that little piece he adds about wanting to come back tomorrow. So to make a change, you can just drag that white line to the right to cover that, and we can look in the viewer to see his lips move. When he starts to smile at the end, we know we've got that extra piece in there. Fantastic. To close the clip trimmer, you can click the X by the words clip trimmer, or I like to click the blue triangle right there in the timeline. And let's play that trimmed clip.
I had a lot of fun. It was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, and I can't wait to go diving tomorrow.
Great. So here's another way to use a clip trimmer. Let's open this clip here of this turtle. In fact, before we do, let's just play it so we can see what it looks like. So nice shot, but it kind of goes out of focus, right?
Yeah,
so we want to fix that. So let's go ahead and open up the clip trimmer. When you trim a clip's start or end, the clip becomes longer or shorter, like we just saw. But in this case, we don't want to change the clip's duration. It's exactly the right length. But we do want to change its content, the frames that appear. If we move the pointer between the two white lines, the icon changes, and the tooltip tells us that we can change the portion of the clip that's being used. If we click and drag, the media moves, but the white lines stay still. And check it out, in the viewer, we see two separate displays while using this tool. The left display shows the first frame of the clip, and the right display shows the last frame. So we can very precisely determine where the clip starts and stops without changing its duration at all. And in this case, we want to drag until we see that out of focus part go away and we see the turtle in focus on both the beginning and the end. Right about there. Okay, let's close the clip trimmer and play this clip. So same length, but now different content. For some edits, rather than focusing on the start and end of a single clip, it's more important to focus on the end of one clip and the start of the next clip, so you can create a smooth cut from one clip to the next. Here we have two clips. In the first, we see a diver jumping into the water from behind him. Okay, and in the second clip, we see the same diver jumping in, but from in front, from in the water. And clearly here they don't match because it's the same. We see him jump and hit the water both times.
So we want to make this shot more of a continuous action. And right now it seems like it's repeating the action.
It's doing the same thing over again, but we can use the precision editor to match the action from one clip to the next.
So we can trim one clip and trim another to make it seem like one continuous.
Exactly. To open the precision editor, you double-click on the edit point between two clips. The precision editor opens with the outgoing clip above and the incoming clip below. And like with the clip trimmer, we can now see the unused media, but this time we see unused media for both clips at the edit point, which is represented by the single vertical white line. So if you play the timeline with the cursor over the top outgoing clip, you get to see the full clip, including the unused media. If you play the timeline with a pointer over the bottom incoming clip, you can see its unused media. To see the current edit point without any unused media, move the pointer above or below both clips and play. Okay, to change where the outgoing clip ends, you can either drag on the white line itself or on the video thumbnail. Either action does the same thing. As you drag, the viewer shows the new ending frame. So let's go ahead and move it so that the arm of the guy pushing him, or looking like he's pushing him, is just outstretched. He just stretched his arm out. Perfect. And then let's do the same thing on the incoming clip below. Right where he's pushing him, right where he's about to jump off into the water and his legs kind of up in the air. Fantastic. And now we can play that edit point by moving the cursor above the timeline and playing through it. Get off the boat. It's pretty cool, right? I mean, the action matches perfectly. It looks like that was taken by two cameras at the same time. And I guess in that case it was, but you can make things match that weren't even shot at the same time.
Right, looks like one continuous action.
Yep. Now here's a neat tip. If you drag directly on the ball between the clips, you change both edit points at the same time. As the top outgoing clip gets larger, the bottom incoming clip gets shorter by the exact same amount. So the total duration of the two clips doesn't change at all. This tool is very handy if you don't want your overall project length to change at all. If you want to use the precision editor on the next clip, just click the ball over that edit point. To close the precision editor, click the X next to its name here, or I prefer to double-click the ball between the clips. Finally, here's a really cool use of the precision editor. Let's open it at this edit point here. If you drag the portion of the white edit point line that is over the audio waveform, you can change the edit point of the audio independently of the video. For example, here we can trim the audio of this lower incoming clip in order to hear it before we see the video. Let's play it back.
Sudden, it's just blue beneath you.
Okay, so he's talking about diving, and we start to hear the sounds of diving while he's talking.
Right, the bubble. So it kind of leads you as a viewer into the next shot.
Foreshadows. And once you start to notice this, you'll see it in movies all the time where you start hearing the next scene, the next shot, while we're watching one scene.
Right, it also tends to hide that edit, make it less like an edit.
Yep, smooths the way through the edit. The clip trimmer and the precision editor are powerful tools for finessing the edit points of your video and giving it a professional touch. So it's pretty cool, right? These tools are like really make it easy to get just exactly the part of the clips that you want to tell your story most effectively.
Right, it allows you to mold and shape your story. And that's really the heart of editing, really to get rid of the stuff you don't want and only to show you the stuff that you do want.
Absolutely.
Makes for less boring videos.
So next we're going to get into how to work with photos in iMovie. In this lesson in Learning iMovie, we're going to get into working with photos in iMovie.
Yeah, photos are great because we have so many of them. In fact, in iMovie, you can make an entire movie out of photos.
Absolutely. Works great. Let's see how to do it.
You bet. iMovie makes it simple to add photos to your project and animate them. You can import photos, graphics, illustrations, or other still images into an event, just like video clips. But if you use iPhoto, there's an easier way. In the Libraries list, select iPhoto Library. Here you have direct access to your entire photo collection. By default, the browser displays iPhoto events, but you can use this pop-up to select other collections of your photos. Let's leave it on events. Here's an event containing photos I shot with my iPhone on our recent dive trip to St. Croix. To view the photos inside an event, double-click it. Let's add a few photos to the end of our project by skimming over them and pressing the E key. When you add photos from your iPhoto library to a project, they are automatically imported into the event containing that project. Let's select the event and scroll down. There they are, and they're already marked with the orange Use Media indicators so we know that they're in the current project. Here's a photo I took using the panorama settings on the iPhone. In fact, if we want to see nothing but the photos in the browser, all we need to do is type photo in the search field. Very cool. Now let's clear the search field. When you add a photo to your timeline, it's 4 seconds long by default. Of course, you can trim a photo just like a video clip to make it longer or shorter, but you can also change the default duration. From the window menu, choose Movie Properties. Then in the viewer, click the Settings button. Here you can adjust the default duration of both stills and video clips, as well as how iMovie handles photos that are added to the timeline in the Photos Placement pop-up menu. Clicking in the timeline closes the settings pane. Now if we play these photos in the timeline, we can see that iMovie has automatically animated them. But what if you wanted to modify the animation? No problem. In the timeline, double-click the photo you want to modify. This action reveals the adjustments bar. Click the crop icon. Here, you can choose whether iMovie will fit your video completely in the frame, crop it to fill the frame, or apply the Ken Burns effect. For the Ken Burns effect, you can adjust the starting crop and position by scaling and moving this box, and the ending crop and position by adjusting this box. To swap the starting and ending areas, click this Swap button. When you're done, click the check mark, then click the Adjust icon to close the adjustments bar. Now play the clip on the timeline. If you want the animation to last longer, simply trim the clip. You can see how easy it is to add and animate photos in iMovie. In the next lesson, we'll dive into working with audio sources.
Now on Learning iMovie, we're going to get into working with audio sources.
Right, audio is critical. It actually boosts the production value of your movie. In fact, they say in Hollywood that audio is 50% of what you see. And iMovie has a ton of tools in this regard, from sound effects to music cues. Let's take a look.
Great.
With iMovie, it's easy to add sound effects and a soundtrack to your movie. In the Content library, select Sound Effects. From the pop-up menu, you have a choice of sound effects or iLife sound effects organized into folders. Let's select Sound Effects. Here are dozens of sound effects that you can sort by name or time. Let's sort by name, ascending. Now let's preview a few of them. In our project, the diver is talking about a time when it rained.
So it rained on us today, and that made me really happy because we're in the middle of the ocean. And
So let's search for a rain sound effect. I like the hard rain sound effect. Let's go with that one. We don't need the entire clip, so let's set a range of about 3.5 seconds. Then we can drag it down below the clip to anchor it at the point where he's talking about the rain. Let's play that back.
so it rained on us today, and that made me really happy because we're in the middle.
The sound effect is quite loud and comes on suddenly. If needed, click the Timeline Appearance button and make sure Show Waveforms is selected, and then use the zoom slider to take a closer look. Let's trim the sound effect to match the duration of the video clip. This line over the waveform represents the volume of a clip. Let's drag it down to lower the volume slightly. Now let's play it back.
Today, and that made me really happy because we're in.
You can also adjust the volume using the volume controls. Select the clip, click the Adjust button if needed, then in the Adjustments bar, click the speaker icon. Drag the slider to adjust the volume. You can mute the clip's audio by clicking the speaker icon next to the volume slider. One reason for adjusting the volume here is that if you have multiple clips selected, you can adjust the volume of all of them or mute all of them at once. Click the Adjust icon to close the adjustment bar. When you move the pointer over an audio clip, little buttons appear at each end. These are fade handles. Drag them to make the audio fade in and fade out. Let's play that back.
So it rained on us today, and that made me really happy because.
By adjusting the volume and fade handles, we've made the sound effect blend into our project. You can also add a soundtrack to your movie and have it automatically adjust its volume where there are competing sounds, like people talking, for example. In the Content library, you can look for music in Sound Effects, GarageBand, or iTunes. iMovie comes with many royalty-free songs that you can use in your movie. Select Sound Effects again, and this time in the pop-up menu, select Theme Music. These songs are great for short movies that are about a minute long. Press the play button to preview a few of them. If you need longer or shorter music options, then in the iLife Sound Effects folder, select Jingles. Let's click the header of the time column to sort by song duration, descending. Let's try out this 2-minute song, Jerriconda. That should work well for our project. Notice at the bottom of the timeline there's a dotted outline of a rectangle containing a musical symbol. This is the background music well. Let's double-click our selected song and then drag it to this well and align the clip to the start of the project. The great thing about the background music well is that the audio placed inside it isn't connected to any other clips in your project, so it won't move around if you make adjustments to your other clips. The background music can make it hard to hear the diver talking in our movie.
One of the coolest things I saw was a sea turtle.
iMovie has a great feature to take care of that. Click the Adjust button if needed. Then, in the Adjustments bar, click the speaker icon. Here, we have the option to lower the volume of other clips. So let's select all the clips where the diver is talking. We can click the first one, then hold down the Command key and select the others to select them all. Then enable this checkbox. Notice how the waveform in the music track now dips down whenever our diver is speaking. You can adjust how much the volume decreases with this slider. Let's play some of the project.
One of the coolest things I saw was a sea turtle. There was a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw two.
Very cool. Click the Adjust icon to close the adjustment bar. Next, we'll look at how to add transitions, titles, and maps to your movie.
So in this lesson of learning iMovie, we're going to talk about using titles, transitions, and maps.
Right, you finished your edit, everything looks good, and now you want to just spice things up a bit.
Yeah, this is stuff you add on after you've got the structure down and locked, and you really now want to add some polish.
Yeah, you want to add some bling.
Let's do it.
All right. You can give your movie a professional touch with animated transitions, titles, and maps. Transitions can be used to indicate the passage of time, or changing locations, or just to add a fun touch. Go to the Content Library and select Transitions. In the browser, you can preview the different styles of transitions by simply skimming across them. To apply a transition, drag it between two clips. Let's play through that. If you want to try a different transition, just drag it on top of the current transition. Let's see the change. To change the duration of the transition, double-click it and enter a new value. Or double-click the edge of a clip on either side of the transition to open the Precision Editor and drag one of the dots between the clips to adjust the duration. The advantage of working in the Precision Editor is that you can see how much media is available for the transition. Let's close the Precision Editor. Titles are great for introducing your movie, identifying people, and giving credit to everyone who participated. In the Content Library, select Titles to see them in the browser. Just like transitions, you can preview the titles by skimming them. Let's use this one as the opening title for our project. To add a title, you drag it to the timeline. Let's first zoom in to the start of our project. You can either insert the title at the start of the project like this, and it will play against a black background. Or you can connect it to another clip. Let's connect it to this first clip so that we see the title play over the clip. Let's also trim the end of it to match the duration of this clip. To edit a title, double-click it. This action opens the adjustment bar and highlights the first line of text. Start typing to replace that line. Press the Tab key to move to the next line and type. In the adjustment bar, you can change the style of the text. You can change the font and size. You can make the text bold, italic, or outlined, and change the color. When you're done, click the check mark. If you want to make more changes, click the T icon to reveal the title settings. And to format one line of text at a time, press the Tab key to highlight the line you want to change. Let's add a lower third title to the first clip of our diver talking. And I'll go ahead and trim the clip. A lower third is often used to introduce your subjects to your audience.
One of the coolest things I saw was a sea turtle. There's a sea turtle.
Finally, let's add the scrolling credits to the end of the project. To do so, I'll select it and press the E key. For this title, I recommend double-clicking on each text line to change them. You can delete the lines you don't need and trim the duration of the title to change the speed of the scroll. To complete this project, let's add a map at the beginning to show our viewers where the movie takes place. In the Content library, select Maps and Backgrounds. In the browser, we have a variety of globes and maps to choose from. Skim over a few of them to preview them. Let's use this one called Watercolor Globe. I'll move the skimmer to the start of the project and then press W to insert the globe there. When we select it, the adjustment bar opens above the viewer and the map settings appear. Let's click on the first city in the route settings and search for St. Croix. It's not found, so let's try Virgin Islands. There it is. Let's play the map. If you wanted to show an animated travel line from a starting location, you can enter it here. Then click here to swap the start and end locations. Let's play that back. Fantastic! In the next lesson, we'll explore several video overlay effects.
In this lesson, we're going to look at how to use video overlay effects in iMovie.
What that implies to me is that you're putting one video clip on top of another.
Overlay, one on top of the other.
Right, and then doing something with them.
And doing something. Let's get into it.
Take a look. By connecting one video clip to another in iMovie, you can create a variety of interesting effects. Here, we have a video clip of a diver talking about a recent dive. Let's play it.
One of the coolest things I saw was a sea turtle. There's a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw two.
He's talking about a turtle. Let's move the play to the point where he mentions the turtle.
The coolest things I saw was a sea turtle.
In the browser, we have a clip of a turtle. If we select a range of that clip, we can then drag the range down to the timeline and connect it to the diver clip. Or let's press Command Z to undo that. Instead, from the Edit menu, we can choose Connect or press the letter Q. Now when we play the diver clip, when he mentions the turtle, we cut away to the shot of the turtle.
One of the coolest things I saw was a sea turtle. There was a sea turtle.
Let's lower the volume of this clip and trim it to match the end of the diver clip. Let's look at some additional overlay effects. If we select the connected clip and go to the adjustment bar, we see that the video overlay settings are selected. Clicking the pop-up menu reveals 4 different overlay styles. We'll discuss green-blue screen in depth in the next lesson. Choose side by side. The turtle clip now appears on the left side of the screen, with the diver talking about the turtle on the right.
Was a sea turtle. There's a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw
You can swap the clips with the left-right buttons. If you want the connected clips to slide on, drag the slide slider to set the duration of the animation.
One of the coolest things I saw was a sea turtle. There was a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw two.
Let's change the overlay style to picture-in-picture. Now the connected clip appears in a window over the main clip. You can drag it to another location and change its size. Let's move it so it doesn't block the diver and make it larger.
I saw was a sea turtle. There was a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw two.
You can change how it animates on and off the screen. This is called the transition style. Let's try swap.
One of the coolest things I saw was a sea turtle. There was a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw two.
You can change the duration of the animation by entering a value up here. Let's change the transition style back to dissolve. We can change how long the dissolve lasts by dragging one of these handles on top of the clip.
Those things I saw was a sea turtle. There was a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw two.
You can even animate the inset clip to move and change size. Move the playhead to the start of the clip. Drag the inset off the screen. This button here adds a keyframe at the current playhead location to set the current position and scale of the inset clip. Click it. Now move the playhead forward a bit in time, then move and scale the inset clip. Doing so automatically sets a second keyframe. Play that back.
I saw was a sea turtle. There was a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw two.
The position and scale now animate between those keyframes. The cutaway, side-by-side, and picture-in-picture overlay styles are great ways to add interest to your movies. In the next lesson, we'll learn how to use the green-blue screen overlay style.
Continuing our series of lessons on learning iMovie, we're now going to learn how to key a shot.
Keying, isn't that something they do in Hollywood? Where they,
It sure is.
so they have like actors on sets with big green backgrounds?
But you can do it too
In iMovie.
in iMovie.
Let's take a look.
Let's take a look.
With iMovie, it's easy to combine a clip of a subject shot in front of a green or blue screen with a background. Your background could be a photo, graphic, or a video clip. In addition to your own media, iMovie contains a variety of backgrounds to choose from. In the Content library, select Maps and Backgrounds. Scroll down to the Background section and skim a few to preview them. Some are animated and some are still images. Let's use this one called Underwater. We'll drag it to a new empty project. If I select this event, you can see it contains a video clip of a young woman standing in front of a green wall. This is called a green screen shot. She was shot in this manner so that the green color could be removed and replaced with something else. This process is called keying. The colors that are easiest to remove are usually green or blue. The more evenly lit the background color is, the easier it will be to remove it. As you can see, this background was not lit very evenly. It has a bright hotspot in the middle and dark corners. To key a shot in iMovie, you first add it to your project as a connected clip over a background clip. So, I'll double-click it to select the entire clip, and then drag it over this underwater clip here. The background clip is shorter, so let's trim it to match the connected clip. Next, let's double-click the connected clip to open the adjustment bar. Here we can see that the Video Overlay Settings button is selected, and the Video Overlay Style is set to Cutaway. Let's change the video overlay style to green-blue screen. Immediately, the green background disappears or is keyed out, and we see the clip beneath. Now, depending on how evenly your green screen was lit and how close the subject was to the green background, some of the background may not be removed automatically. You use these tools to improve the key. Drag the softness slider. Dragging to the right softens the key, but going too far starts to make the subject transparent. Dragging left brings in more hair detail, but also brings back some of the background. Notice the dark areas in the bottom corners and near her hair. Try to find a good middle ground. You can crop the clip to focus the key on just the area around the subject, which can make it easier to improve. Drag the right crop handles over and closer to the subject, and the top handles down. Now it's clear that the background is still not fully removed. Select the eraser, then click and drag in these dirty areas, making sure to avoid touching the subject. If you do accidentally, just start again. There, that's much better. Let's play that back. You can see how easy it is to key a shot in iMovie using the green blue screen video overlay style applied to a connected clip, even on less than ideal green screen shots. In the next lesson, we'll look at how to enhance your video and apply effects. In this lesson, we're going to look at enhancing our video. In other words, making it better by improving the color and contrast. And we're also going to look at adding some effects.
Absolutely.
So let's take a look.
Sometimes video clips you add to your project aren't quite perfect. Well, iMovie has some great tools for fixing them up and for changing their appearance. In the toolbar, locate the Enhance button. This single button analyzes the selected video clip and attempts to fix both any video issues it finds and any audio issues it finds. Let's see how it works. Let's take a look at this underwater shot here. It has a color cast due to the surrounding water. With the playhead over it, click the Enhance button. Immediately, the color cast is removed and the shot looks much better. The audio waveform also got larger. Let's click Enhance a few times to toggle it off and on and see that happen. But what did the Enhance button actually do? Click the Adjust button to open the Adjustments bar. Several of the buttons are highlighted. These are the settings that were automatically adjusted for both the video and the audio. By moving the pointer over the highlighted icons, we can see that one-click Enhance adjusted the color balance, color correction, and volume settings. What's great about having access to these settings is that you can adjust the initial result. For example, for this clip, we really don't need the audio to be louder since it contains background underwater sounds. So let's click the Volume button and then click the lower hooked arrow to reset the volume adjustment. Notice how the Volume button is no longer highlighted. You can even one-click Enhance multiple clips at the same time. Select one clip, then Command-click the others. Then click Enhance. Very cool. You can also adjust clips manually. Let's look at the shot of our diver talking. Then click the Color Balance button. The idea here is that you choose one of these methods underneath to balance the shot. Let's try the Auto button to see how that looks. Okay, let's click it again to turn it back off. Or you can white balance the shot. Click White Balance, then click the white part of Zion's shirt. This is a great way to quickly remove a color cast. Let's press the X to cancel that. Instead of color correcting for the white part of a shot, we can correct for the skin tones. Click Skin Tone Balance, then click on Zion's skin. Try clicking in different places for different results. Okay, let's cancel that one as well. You can even match one clip to another. Click Match Color, then in the timeline, locate the sunset shot of the beach near the end of the project and click it. Now the shot of Zion looks like it was shot close to sunset. Let's cancel that as well and move to the beginning of the timeline to this morning beach and palm tree shot and move to the Color Correction button in the adjustment bar. Here, we can manually adjust the brightness levels, saturation, and hue of our clip. If we move the pointer over each of the controls, a tooltip tells us what they will do. Let's increase the contrast and lighten the shot up a bit. And let's increase the saturation. Notice, by the way, how you can make the clip black and white by decreasing saturation all the way. And finally, let's warm it up a little. Let's play that back. Notice how the shot's a little shaky. Let's click the Stabilization button and then click the Stabilize Shaky Video checkbox. iMovie analyzes the clip and estimates how much stabilization to apply, which you can then adjust with this slider. Let's play that back. Much better. In addition to correcting clips, you can apply interesting effects to them. Let's move to this clip of the underwater carousel horse. Click the Video and Audio Effects button, then click the bar next to Video Effect. This palette includes 16 different video effects. Moving the pointer over each one provides an animated preview of the effect on the clip. Let's check out a few. Let's apply hard light by clicking it. You can see how iMovie's powerful tools make it easy to fix, enhance, and add effects to your shots. In the next lesson, we'll see how you can do the same for your audio.
We're now going to look at enhancing your audio. Chances are, when you shoot video, you'll have some distracting background noise or some wind noise, and it's common to get those kinds of things in your video.
Exactly. Audio can have problems, and it's one thing that will really distract your viewers from your video is the audio. So let's look at how to fix it.
You bet.
Much like the video tools we explored in the last lesson, iMovie makes it easy to fix and adjust your audio. As we've already seen, one-click Enhance will automatically attempt to fix both the video and the audio of a clip, but you can also make manual adjustments. Let's look at this clip of a diver swimming towards us. Double-click it to open the adjustments bar, then click the volume button. Here, if you click the Auto button, iMovie will attempt to automatically adjust the volume. Click it, and notice how the waveform in the clip in the timeline grows. In this case, we don't want the underwater sounds to be full volume, so we can adjust the volume manually with the volume slider. Or we can drag the volume bar over the waveform in the timeline clip to do the same thing. Okay, let's select this clip of Zion talking. Because we don't want the background music to interfere with him speaking, we can click this checkbox to lower the volume of other clips. Notice how the background audio waveform adjusts when we do so.
One of the coolest things I saw was sea turtle.
Now click the Noise Reduction and Equalizer button. There's a lot of background noise in this clip from the waves.
One of the coolest things I saw was sea turtle. There was a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw two.
Click the checkbox for Reduce Background Noise. Now let's play that.
One of the coolest things I saw was sea turtle. There was a sea turtle.
It sounds much better. You can increase the strength of the noise reduction with this slider, but if you go too far, it'll start to sound unnatural.
Things I saw was sea turtle.
Let's bring it back down. You can even select an equalizer preset to enhance a voice or music, adjust bass or treble, or get rid of a background hum from an electrical appliance, lights, or a microphone wire. You can also adjust just part of an audio clip by setting keyframes in the timeline. Here we have a clip of a flounder. We want the underwater sounds, but this part has some loud clicks and knocks in it, and we'd like to lower just this part. Let's hold down the Option key and click to set 2 keyframes before the loud section, and then set 2 keyframes after. If we now drag down on the volume bar between the 2 sets of keyframes, we can lower the volume of just this section so that it matches the volume of the rest of the clip. You can even detach the audio from a video clip. Let's right or control click the clip and choose Detach Audio. We can now trim this audio to find a section without loud clicks and pops. Then move the clip over and trim it to match the video clip. You can see how quickly and easily you can fix and adjust your audio in iMovie. In the next lesson, we'll learn about how to retime your video clips. In this Learning iMovie lesson, we're going to talk about retiming effects.
So we're going to slow things down and speed things up.
We sure are.
All right, let's take a look.
All right.
Changing the speed of a video clip can add drama or humor, and it's really fun to do. Here's a clip of Zion diving underwater. Yeah, go. In the Modify menu are several different retiming options. Let's choose Slow Motion 50%. The clip becomes twice as long, since it's playing at half speed. A turtle icon indicates that the clip has been slowed down, and a bar, called the Speed Editor, appears along the top of the clip. Let's play it. The clip plays in slow motion, but when we hear Steve say, "Now go," at the start of the clip, it sounds much deeper. Slowing down a clip lowers the pitch of the audio. Click the turtle icon to open the adjustment bar. Here we can choose a different preset speed, enter a custom speed, reverse the clip, and finally preserve the pitch. Let's check the Preserve Pitch checkbox and play back. Yeah, go. Okay, let's reset the speed to normal by clicking the hooked arrow. Now, instead of using the Modify menu, let's right or control click the clip. Here's a command, Show Speed Editor, and a handy keyboard shortcut, Command R. Let's select it. This time, to retime the clip, we can drag the ball on this slider overlay. Dragging to the left speeds up the clip, notice the rabbit icon, and dragging to the right slows it down. Let's play it back. Yeah, go. Now let's click the turtle icon and try reversing the clip. You can also retime just part of a clip. Here's a clip of Zion doing a flip into a pool. Let's click and hold on the frame where he starts to jump, and then drag to set a range that ends when he hits the water. In the Adjustments bar, we'll use the Speed pop-up menu to select Slow, then select 25%. Let's take a look. Just the selected range is slowed down. Now, if we select the entire clip, back in the Adjustments bar, notice that smoothing is enabled to ease the transition between the two speeds. On the clip, we can drag these film strip frames to set where we want the slowed down part of the clip to start and end. By the way, if you use the slow motion effect on an iPhone, iMovie will automatically add this smoothing to ramp into and out of the slow motion section. Let's click the hooked arrow to reset the clip. Back in the Modify menu, let's try out a rewind at 2x. This command rewinds a portion of the clip that you can adjust. Let's play it. We can drag the film strip frames to set where we want the rewind to start and end. Let's have it start right when he hits the water and end when his feet hit the ground. Dragging the balls above the frames changes the speed of each of the segments of the clip. Let's have it start fast, then rewind in slow motion, then speed up for the final dive. You can also freeze a frame of a video clip. Let's select this clip and choose Modify, Reset Speed. Then, we'll place the playhead where Zion is in midair and choose Modify, Add Freeze Frame. This command splits the clip at the playhead and adds a 4-second freeze frame in between. You can, of course, trim it. Let's make it shorter. Let's check out one more retiming effect. I'll press Command Z a few times to undo the freeze frame. Then choose Modify, Flash and Hold Frame. This command is similar to Add Freeze Frame, but it adds a flash transition and it animates the freeze frame. Retiming effects in iMovie are really fun to use. In the next lesson, we'll learn how to get your movie into iMovie Theater and view it on other devices.
So we finished our first iMovie. What do we do now?
Well, we want to share it so it appears on our iPhones and our iPads and our Apple TVs.
So we want to watch it.
We want to watch it.
Great. So iMovie Theater is a great way to do that.
Let's take a look.
Okay.
Once you've completed your movie or your trailer, you can share it to iMovie Theater so that you can view the finished movie on your Mac, iOS devices, and Apple TV. Note that to take advantage of iMovie Theater, you need to be signed into iCloud. From the Apple menu, select System Preferences, then select the iCloud icon. Under Documents and Data, click Options, and make sure iMovie is checked. Finally, back in iMovie, select iMovie Preferences, and make sure Automatically Upload Content to iCloud is checked. Okay, to share to the theater, first have a project open in the timeline, or select it in the browser that you want to share. Or, if you just want to share a clip, select that clip. Then, in the toolbar, click the Share button. The window that appears contains a set of destinations for your movie. iMovie Theater is a private place for storing and viewing your movies in iMovie on your iOS devices and on Apple TV. Select it. Immediately, iMovie switches to the theater view and starts creating different versions of your movie. We can see the progress with this indicator. If we click it, we can see the details. When it disappears, the movies are ready, but you don't need to wait. You can continue to work while the movies are being created. The movies for your iOS devices are automatically uploaded to iCloud so that you can view them on your other iOS devices. They are private and can't be viewed by others. Note that movies uploaded to iCloud can't be longer than 15 minutes. All movies, trailers, and clips that you've shared to the theater appear here and can be accessed at any time. To play one, simply click it. By the way, to exit playback at any time, just press your Escape key. If you'd like to see the entire movie, you'll find it at the end of this lesson. To view movies shared to the theater on your iPad, iPhone, or iPod Touch, first download the free iMovie for iOS app from the App Store, launch it, and select the theater at the top of the screen. It's also easy to manage movies that you've shared to iMovie Theater. If you make a change to a movie and you want to update it, just share it again to replace the current version. You can also choose to keep both versions. When you delete a movie from the theater, you can choose whether to delete just the iCloud version or the theater version as well. This can be useful, for example, if you're using too much of your iCloud storage. Just select the movie, press the delete key, and choose the appropriate option. iMovie Theater is a great way to manage your completed movies, trailers, or simple clips, and to view them on your iOS devices and Apple TV. In our next lesson, we'll look at how to share your movie more broadly.
One of the coolest things I saw was a sea turtle. There was a sea turtle that was, well, actually we saw two. There was a sea turtle, one that was swimming right over the 3,000-foot drop over by the wall. Now, the second coolest thing I saw was probably the Fisher Barracuda. Diving a wall, that was cool because the experience of swimming at about, I don't know, 50, 60 feet, and then all of a sudden, it's just blue. I had a lot of fun. It was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life, and I can't wait to go diving tomorrow.
In the last movie, we looked at sharing your movie using iMovie Theater so that you can view your movie on an iOS device or Apple TV. But in this lesson, we're going to broaden the scope of our audience and literally share them with the world.
Exactly. Let's jump right in. Once you've completed your movie or your trailer, it's time to share it with others. With iMovie, you can send your movie to a specific group of friends or publish your movie online. First, have a project open in the timeline or select it in the browser that you want to share. Or if you just want to share a clip, select that clip. Then in the toolbar, click the Share button. The window that appears contains a set of destinations for your movie. Let's check out a couple of ones I like to use. We discussed sharing to iMovie Theater in the previous lesson, so let's look at some other sharing options. If you want to store a copy of your movie in iTunes so you can access it on your computer without using iMovie, you can select that here. From iTunes, you can then choose to add the movie to your other iOS devices or Apple TV. If you just want to share your movie with a couple of people, you could choose to email it. This will create a highly compressed version of your movie, which can affect the quality. Another option to share your movie with a limited audience would be to publish it to YouTube or Vimeo as an unlisted movie, and then email the URL to your friends. Let's select YouTube. In the window that appears, we can skim a preview of the movie to make sure it's the one you want to share. Below the preview is its duration and estimated size. Click Sign In to enter your account name and password. If you check this checkbox, you won't need to do this step again. Notice the Add to Theater checkbox. This checkbox is available on all the other shared destinations, so you don't need to select it as a separate task. Very handy. You can change the title of your movie, as well as its description. Give it some tags. These are searchable words that describe your movie, which will make it easier for people to find if it's public. Choose a size. I generally prefer the largest possible for the best viewing experience. Choose a category. This will help with search as well. Then decide who should be able to view your movie. Private is only for specific people that you identify. Unlisted can be viewed by anyone who knows the URL. And public means anyone can view, and it will appear in search results. Then click Next to publish your movie. Let's return to the share destinations. Sharing to Facebook, Vimeo, and CNN iReport works very much like YouTube. If you want to export your clip, movie, or trailers in order to work with it in another application, select File. iMovie remembers where you have shared your project in case you don't. First, select the movie, trailer, or clip that you've shared from the browser. Then, above the viewer, click the Share icon. A list of destinations that you've shared to appears. You can then go to that site or locate the file. You can see how fast and easy it is to share your work with others in iMovie. In the next lesson, we'll learn some tips for managing larger collections of video clips.
Typically, digital video files take up a lot of space in your hard drive. In this lesson, we're going to look at managing your media, how to archive your projects, how to free up disk space, and essentially general housekeeping tasks within iMovie.
Exactly. iMovie can really be great for managing all of your media. So let's look at how we can do that. In addition to making and sharing movies and trailers, you can use iMovie as your video library to store and organize all of your media. It's easy to create and rename events, move movie clips between events, and even create separate libraries as your media collection grows. Events are containers for your media and projects, usually based on the date the clips were recorded. But you can organize your media in events in any way that you like. You can create new events to create separate collections of media. For example, you could import all the media from a multi-day trip into a single event. To create a new event, choose File, New Event. Events are named automatically with the current date, but you can give them a more descriptive name by simply typing right after creating one. To rename an existing event, select it, press the return key, and type. You can sort your events by date instead of by name by right or control clicking in an empty area of the library list. Let's return to name. You can also merge events. If you want to join two or more events together because they contain related media, select one, then command-click the others. Then choose File, Merge Events. Let's press Command-Z to undo that command. You are free to move clips from one event to another in order to better organize them. Simply select the clip or clips that you want to move and drag them from the browser over onto the destination event. iMovie will tell you the number of clips you're moving. If you want to copy the clips instead of moving them, hold down the Option key before releasing the mouse. A green plus sign will appear to indicate you're copying. Let's do a move here. Now let's select that event, and there's the clips. Now we've already discussed in an earlier lesson that when you select a clip and press the Delete key, it gets rated as rejected. But it isn't actually deleted. You can find it by filtering for rejected clips. Let's undo that and go back to viewing Hide Rejected. If you want to actually delete media from the library, right or control click a clip and choose Move to Trash. If this is the only instance of the clip, you'll get a warning that you are deleting the clip. Note that this action only deletes the copy of the clip inside iMovie's library. It doesn't affect the original clip that may be on your camera card or elsewhere on your computer. Let's cancel that. Events are contained in a library, which is like a master container for your events. iMovie starts with a single library, but you can create additional libraries, for example, to back up your project or to move your media to another drive to free up space on your computer. To create a new library, choose File, Open Library, New. Give your library a name. I'll call this Summer Vacation 2014. By default, iMovie will always place your libraries into the user's Movies folder, but you can choose a different location to store it. Let's choose this connected drive and click Save. The new library appears in the Libraries list with a single empty event named with a current date. Let's rename it to Dive Trip. We could now import new clips into this library or move or copy clips or projects from events in other libraries. Let's select the original iMovie library in the Libraries list. Let's say we want to back up this completed project here. If we drag the project from the iMovie library into the event in our new library, it will be copied as indicated by the plus symbol. All the media that is in that project gets copied as well. Note the progress icon at the top right. If we now select the Dive Trip event we can see that we have a self-contained backup of the completed project and all the media inside it on a separate connected drive for archiving. Let's undo that copy operation. The event is now empty. Let's say I want to move all the media from an event in the original library to my new library on that connected drive in order to free up disk space on my computer. I can select that event, click in the browser and choose Edit Select All, then drag the clips to the new event in the new library. Now, before releasing the mouse, if we hold down the Command key, instead of copying the media, we'll be moving it. You can see in the progress icon that the clips are being moved. When the progress indicator disappears, all the clips have been moved. If we select the original event, we can see the clips are gone, and if we select the new event on the connected drive, there is all our media. We freed up a lot of space on our internal drive on our computer, and we just need to make sure that this drive is connected when we're working on these projects. Finally, when you have multiple libraries, you can open and close libraries to focus on your current project. Let's select this library and choose File, Close Library. To open a library, choose File, Open Library. You'll see a list of recently opened libraries to select from. Or you can choose Other and navigate to the location of the library you want. With iMovie, it's easy to organize your clips, back up your projects, and move and store media on other drives. In our next lesson, we'll look at how you can move your iMovie project to Final Cut Pro X to take advantage of its powerful features.
So you've discovered throughout this tutorial that you absolutely love iMovie. It has all these features that you love, but you want a little bit more. And Apple has a great product for that. It's called Final Cut Pro X. So we're going to look at how to send your projects from iMovie to Final Cut and the reasons why you would do so.
If you're starting to work with larger projects or you want more creative control, you might consider bringing your iMovie project into Final Cut Pro X. Final Cut Pro X is Apple's professional editing application, iMovie's big brother. But don't be intimidated. It looks and feels very much like iMovie. It just has a lot more to offer as your editing capabilities and needs grow. For example, it has very powerful tools for organizing and locating large amounts of media, more robust editing and color correction tools, the ability to do multicam editing, a larger collection of titles, transitions, and effects that are customizable, and much more. It's very easy to open your iMovie project into Final Cut Pro. Here we have an iMovie project with a little bit of everything: video clips, animated photos, sound effects, music, cutaways, a picture-in-picture effect, a keyed green screen shot, retimed clips, color-corrected clips, clips with effects applied, a map, titles, and transitions. First, make sure you've installed Final Cut Pro X by downloading it from the App Store. Then from the File menu, let's choose Send Movie to Final Cut Pro. A progress dialog appears, then Final Cut Pro launches. Here is a very similar library list, and here is our iMovie library and our event. We also have a browser containing our project and all our clips, just like in iMovie. If we double-click the movie, it opens in a timeline that looks similar to iMovie, and we can see our movie in a viewer. Let's press the spacebar to play some of the movie. Everything came through into Final Cut: the map, the titles, the picture-in-picture effect, color corrections, transitions, video effects, the keyed green screen shot, We timed clips, absolutely everything that we did. Now that the project is in Final Cut Pro, you can take advantage of its additional features. As a very simple example, we could go to the Themes browser, select the Boxes theme, and use this drop-down title to replace our current title by dragging it over top and performing a replace edit. Notice that it picked up our text from iMovie. We can modify this additional line of text just like in iMovie by double-clicking on the title and typing. Then we can go into the inspector and in the Title tab, change the color theme and the shape. Let's play that. So you can see how Final Cut Pro looks and acts very much like iMovie and does a great job at importing your existing iMovie projects. To learn more about how to harness the power of Final Cut Pro 10, check out our website at rippletraining.com.
In this lesson, we're going to look at using animated themes in iMovie. Now, themes are essentially titles that have some background component or graphics that normally have a design feature to them.
Yeah, that kind of integrates and make your whole project look cohesive and kind of gives it a professional touch.
Almost a branding.
Almost.
All
yeah.
right.
Let's jump in and see how to do it.
You bet.
When you create a new movie in iMovie, you have the option of adding a theme, as we can see here. Each theme includes a set of titles, transitions, and background music to give your project a consistent look. To preview a theme, simply click the play button. Let's try this one, Neon. To apply a theme, double-click it or press the Create button. Give the movie a name, select an existing event where we've already imported our clips, and click OK. Just like a movie with no theme, we start with an empty timeline. However, as we add clips to this timeline, iMovie automatically adds transitions and titles from the theme. Let's play some of the start of the movie. And some of the end of the movie. If you want to change themes, that's easy. Just select Window, Movie Properties, then click Settings. Then click the Theme button. Let's try out Travel here at the bottom. Okay, let's select it by double-clicking it. Now the movie has this theme applied. By the way, you would follow these same steps to apply a theme to a project that didn't have a theme to begin with. It's also easy to modify a theme by changing specific titles or transitions. Let's say we want a different transition here. From the Content library, let's select Transitions. Then choose a transition and drag it over the current one. If we wanted our theme transition back again, it's up here in the top of the browser under Current Theme. Now let's select Titles from the Content library. At the top are the theme titles that you can use anywhere in the project. or you can use any of the other titles as well. So themes are very flexible. Finally, let's select sound effects from the content library, and then select the theme music folder. You can add the music that played in the preview of the selected theme by adding it to the background music well. Themes are great for quickly giving your movie a professional touch, and they're easy to modify.
Congratulations! You've watched and made it through learning iMovie. Hopefully you'll be able to take our suggestions, tips, techniques, the sum total of everything you learned in this training and apply it to your own movies, your vacation videos, business videos, whatever you plan on using it for.
And if you want to go further, check us out at rippletraining.com. We have more information about iMovie, Final Cut Pro 10, and other related applications for creating editing and motion graphics and that sort of thing. You can follow us on Twitter at rippletraining and like us on Facebook.
And really, have a great time, make some awesome movies, and we look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you for watching.